Hello again. So a little video about, do I need to clean my tools? Now, there's two different aspects to this. One is cleaning things energetically, which we're probably familiar with if you've got crystals, you're working with crystals. From time to time you want to clean the crystals, and that's because crystals can take on energies from other places. The rings are rather different because they're essentially just aerials that resonate with natural frequencies that are all around us all the time, and they only resonate with those frequencies. Then you don't need to energetically clean them because they don't take on board anything that's not healthy. In fact, somebody I met many years ago early on was buying the rings to give to his students for them to clean their crystals with. He was teaching crystal healing, and he found that the rings were a really good way of clearing crystals. So that might be relevant to you. Of course, another aspect of cleaning is the physical tarnishing, and so some examples here. Well, this is a gold empowerment cubit, well, new dimension empowerment cubit harmonizer, one of the bigger ones you can get, gold plated. It's got silver and gold, so copper with gold, then silver, then gold and silver, with 9 layers altogether. No, 8 layers. Finishing in gold, the silver has 9 layers. But gold doesn't, one of the things people like about gold is it doesn't tarnish. So here it is, probably 2 years on, still looking pretty shiny. Silver is obviously rather different. So this harmonizer here is the one that I got when I went to see Slim in the US back in 2004, and it's silver plated, and it doesn't look like a new harmonizer by any means, but given that it still shines up pretty well, and it's never gone through that outer layer of silver down to the gold layer below, and that's 20 years old. Now the difference between that and perhaps this ring, or most certainly this little personal harmonizer I have here, is that doesn't really get rubbed against very much. It's just put on the side. It's gets frequencies played to it, and it just does its thing. And from time to time, like I have this morning, I've used a mixture of bicarbonate of soda and salt and hot water, which is one of those, you could probably find the recipe online, but it's essentially a cup of bicarbonate of soda and a cup of salt for every gallon of water, a gallon of hot water. So I tend to, for a harmonizer this size, that's about 1/4 of a cup of each, and just over 1 litre of water in a bowl with some aluminium foil, and it fizzes away for half an hour, and take it out, wash it off, and it shines up pretty nicely for something that's 2 decades old, still doing a very good job. My little personal harmonizer, has been much more, because it's under, I would wear it underneath my jacket, usually against my skin, so my body is rubbing against, getting all kinds of body oils from me and so on. So this is a new one here, and this is my 20-year-old personal harmonizer. So wear and tear is inevitable. This one also, you probably notice, is a weird shape. It's never been physically crushed, but I think at some point it protected me against something energetic, and it went out of shape. And having spoken to Slim and Katharina, they also said that these things can happen. So, but there it is. It's still doing its thing, even though it's a bit squished. It doesn't look as shiny as it used to, because I've been through most of the silver and gold that was electroplated onto this in the first place, and that's probably just down to the basic wire underneath. So you would expect a bit more wear and tear on a personal harmonizer, which is being worn against your body, compared to one that's just sitting on the side doing its thing. This is a empowerment cubit ring that lives under my pillow, often getting quite a bit of wear and tear again. So anything you put in your pocket that's just going to have lots of rubbing and clothes and things, again, that's going to tarnish, or it's going to start to lose its layering a bit. Whereas a ring that's just sat on the side minding its own business, particularly if it's gold plated and not silver, then you're going to see a lot less wear and tear on that. So essentially there will be tarnishing. Slim noticed this thing called sublimation. So sublimation is when something goes from being a solid to a gas without passing through a liquid phase. And he noticed that the plating over time sublimates. And of course, on something really small, like a little personal harmonizer, there's a lot less plating on here than there is on here. And so the sublimation occurs much more quickly. And that's just a property of the ring, because these are all rings, just the same as these are rings. They're just compacted by being twisted. And so that sublimates. And Slim felt that the sublimation of the gold and the silver plating was good for us, so that's not a problem. But of course, over time, particularly your little personal harmonizers will lose those layers. So keeping them clean or wearing them more outside of clothes is more likely to prolong the plating on them than if you just wear them underneath things. Of course, if you're wearing them underneath, it doesn't really matter what they look like, because nobody's going to see them anyway. So that's the thing you can physically clean. When it comes to the copper, the plain copper rings, they will tarnish as well. So you'll get so this one's still quite shiny, but they'll go a more dull, dark colour, and that's oxidation, it's copper oxide, which again Slim felt was beneficial because it dopes the ring. So doping is a small quantity of something that makes a big difference. So copper oxide, you can clean it off, but Slim felt that it made the rings more effective, or gave them a little bit of extra oomph. If I need to clean a copper ring, then I'll just use a little bit of, well, we squeeze lemon juice on our salads. So a half of lemon cut through, that's been finished off, squeezed, still got a bit of lemon inside, a little bit of salt, and I'll just rub the lemon and the salt around the ring, and it shines it up nicely, give it a rinse, dry it off, and you've got a nice shiny ring again. So you can make them shiny. It's not necessarily important in terms of their effectiveness, but if you like your tools to look nice, then you might need to give some attention to that, particularly the copper rings and the silver, both of which will tarnish over time.